Hey everybody, Miss Tracy here, and today I'm here on ARC on Xbox One. It's the beta for the Xbox One. It's supposed to be coming out here soon, so we have a lot of glitches and stuff to work with. But we're also getting a lot of updates, so I'm going to get to this pretty quick. We've got some new server settings to cover, and I want to go through it as fast as possible so you guys don't have to watch a huge video on this. So I'm just going to explain the sliders and how they work and what you want to set them to. So I'm going to go ahead and start. The difficulty level you want up to 1 because you won't get high level animals spawning if you don't do that. Is what I've heard. I haven't verified that, but I always have it cranked to 1. So everything else I have verified, don't worry. So the day cycle speed here, that explains... Oh, we're in world settings here. Let's start over in general. Let's start with dino damage. And dino damage means how much damage a dino does to other entities. So higher number increases the damage. So if you want them to be weaker, you want to lower it. If you want them to be higher, you want to up it. And if you guys don't know, cranking it all the way down either direction changes the numbers you can pick. See a little bit here? Of course, now I gotta set that back to 0. Oh, whatever, I'll change that. So here we have player damage, which is the same thing. So if you want to do more damage, we have ours increased like the smallest percentage you can possibly increase it, just for a little extra damage. But you gotta be careful. If you crank it too high, you can accidentally kill your tames really easily. So I wouldn't do that. Structure damage here, we haven't messed with this one much because we don't play PvP on this server. When I played on the public servers, that would have been nice, but you can't change it on there. This means how much damage things like the spike wall does when a player touches it. So a higher number increases the damage. Player resistance means how much damage a player can take before they start to die. So we have ours just slightly lower because that means we have just slightly more resistance. So we're just slightly more difficult to kill. So I wouldn't, setting it down to 0 is nice if you're trying to like just build and you don't want to mess with the animals, but it gets kind of boring if you can't die. There's really no challenge. So we have ours just down a little bit. Dino resistance works the same, but I'm pretty sure this works for tames and non-tames either. So again, the higher number takes more damage to kill. So lower means, or it takes more damage rather. So lower number means it doesn't take very much damage at all. And it won't die if you put it to 0. So now we're on to structure. We have structure resistance down to 0 because I hate when the flippin' Brontos go and they wipe out your entire base with one tail swing. And that's what this does. So the structure resistance means if you increase it, your structures take less damage to break. So they break faster. So if you decrease it all the way to 0 like we did, you can only demolish. You can't accidentally break shit by hitting it with an axe or having a Bronto swing or any of that. So XP multiplier, you guys can probably figure that one out. We have ours just a little bit higher. Taming speed, we have cranked because on the public servers it takes forever. And I know that's part of the game, but I am impatient. So higher the number, the faster it tames. And it still takes a while at 6. So here we have the structured damage. And the way to do it is you put it to 0 to disable it entirely, but it's an option for the cooldown for repairing things that have been broken. So we don't even fuss with this because we don't have things that can be broken. But if you wanted to have no timer on that, you're going to want to put it to disable 0, all the way down to 0 to disable it. Sorry, that made 0 sense, but you get it. All right, now we have the dino turret damage, and that one really got me. I was like, what the heck does that mean? So that means the higher number of damage that is done to dinos by turrets. So if you shoot a dino with a turret, this is what determines the damage that they take. So if you want to do higher damage, you would increase the number. So, oh, and here we have the Dino Harvesting. That means how much it takes for them to harvest. So like how many hits it's going to take. So if you do a higher number, you increase the damage done and you get faster harvest because you don't have to hit it as much. So we don't crank ours too high or you're like breaking and picking up everything. So it's just ridiculous. Let's go up here to the harvest mount. Here, this can get pretty ridiculous too. You increase it to get more items per thing that you break or harvest, whatever. So if you want to get a bunch of wood, up it. We up it a little bit. Sometimes it gets to be a bit much if you're like running around on Carno Island and eating a ton of things and you're getting all this crap in your inventory, but this is not too high here. So here we have the water and food drains, and these mean how often you have to eat or drink, and you lower them to have to eat or drink less. So we don't want to make it so you don't have to eat or drink at all, because that's part of the survival aspect. So we have ours pretty low, but not all the way off, because again, lazy. I'm lazy and impatient, and yeah. So here we have the Dino character food drain. I bet you can figure that out. It's pretty much the same thing. So if you want them to eat less, you lower the number. If you want them to have to eat more, you increase it. So here we have stamina, and less makes you need less stamina. So if you lower it, you don't get tired as easily. If you want to up it, you're going to have to use more stamina. You're going to get drained really quickly. So I wouldn't do that. Same thing with the Dino character. You can figure that one out too. And we dump ours a little bit down because we have Argents, and having to land those little guys all the time because they're too tired is really annoying. So we just have ours slightly down. Here we have the health recovery. Right now we have this cranked because we were messing with the torpor settings. But this one, the higher it is, the more, like the quicker your health will recover. So since ours is up a little bit, our health goes a little bit quicker. Now here's the same thing with the dinos, but you gotta be careful because that's for tamed and untamed. Now here we got harvesting damage. It's pretty much the same thing as down here. So how many hits it takes for you to damage something. So if you want to increase it, that makes you have more damage and faster harvest again. So, all right, let's go on to rules. Most of these are pretty self-explanatory here. These are for setting, if you want to have it be able to be PvE and PvP and have like a timer set for both. So I'm not going to really mess with these. I'm going to go ahead and skip right to world. And here we have the day cycle speed. And this one is a little bit tricky because it's different than the one below it. And it means the speed that it goes from day to night. So like how long sunset and dawn and sunrise are. So if you have it down like we do, it takes a little bit quicker. It goes a little bit quicker, I guess is the way to say it. If you want to up it, it'll take flipping forever. You'll have like sunset forever. So I wouldn't change that unless you're going to go down, because who wants to do that? But if you go down too far, then it's like a switch and it's just all of a sudden instant darkness. So it's kind of a pain in the butt. So here we have the daytime and nighttime speed. And these are pretty self-explanatory as well, but the lower the number increases the length. So here we have a little bit longer day and quite a bit shorter night, because night sucks. You can't see anything. These two settings right here are the only ones I can't help you with. These were set to 0 with the update. I haven't messed with them because this is supposed to be how long it takes for things to spoil and how long it takes for bodies and items to disappear after being dropped on the ground. And they're all set to 0, and that should mean things disappear instantly from what I read. So I'm not sure what the deal is here. So we're going to skip those. The resource radius increases the distance around like people here. Well, this one's for players, and then here's for structures. That stuff will spawn. So if you've noticed that if you're standing in an area, stuff won't really respawn very much, resources and such, or if you have a lot of buildings in an area, well, this changes that. You can change how high or how much of an area you have. So if you want to increase the distance they can grow around you, you will increase the number. Lower it for the opposite, obviously. Crop growth is pretty obvious as well. If you want to increase it, you will have a higher growth speed. So if you want it to go faster, increase the number. If you want it to take longer, decrease it. Don't know why you do that, but whatever. Decay speed means how fast it goes bad, which is really nice because they go bad pretty quickly. It's pretty ridiculous, but we don't bother because we have the greenhouse and we don't need to bother with that. Poop interval. Okay, right now this is a big thing. As of right now, today, March 8th, 2016, if you set this to 0, you will not be able to load your game. It'll just keep crashing. So don't set it to 0, but if you want them to poop more, you increase it. That's different for the laying eggs. If you want them to lay more eggs, you decrease it. If you put them at 0, Oh my god, will you get so many eggs? It's insane. I recommend just trying it for the heck of it once because it's actually kind of hilarious to see how many eggs they crap out. But here is the mating interval. This means how long they have to wait between mating. If you lower the number, it's less time. If you increase it, it takes longer. The hatch egg speed, the higher the number, the less time it takes for the eggs to hatch. So if you want it to be quicker, up that number. Here we have the baby maturing speed too. And that one means the higher the number, let me try to rephrase that. The higher you put it to, the less time it takes for a baby to mature. So if you up it all the way, it's going to be really quick. And if you down it, I don't know what happened. If you down it all the way to 0, it might not work. I've never tried that personally. So if you do try that, you put it in the comments. I would appreciate that. Same with the food consumption here. This is really handy because if you've ever tried to hatch a baby, which I have not yet, I've heard though that they eat insane amounts of food. So if you want to increase the amount of food they take, which I don't know why you'd do that, you would lower the number. But if you want to decrease the time that it takes for them to have to eat, you will increase the number. So here we have the harvest health. And that pretty much just means how many strikes are needed all around to harvest things. So if you want to increase it, you'll need more strikes to break things. If you decrease it, you'll need less. So we just leave ours alone. Here the resources respawn is a little bit backwards. I thought if you'd up it, things would respawn faster, but that's not the case because we upped it and we didn't get crap. So actually the lower you have it means the more resources will respawn, and the quicker they'll respawn. It's not like you get extra resources. It's just, it happens more. So we have ours just slightly down, so ours are just slightly faster respawn. So yeah. These stats are pretty self-explanatory. You can change them. The only thing we upped is the weight on things. Ooh, why is damage down? Well, I didn't mess with the damage, but I did mess with the weight a little bit. And I did up it. It did make a pretty decent difference, even though I just slightly upped it. So that's something interesting you want to play around with. But here, I'm going to explain these last two ones right here. Oh, I guess I can't get to them. There we go. Custom recipe effectiveness means how effective the stuff is. So let's say you make a custom recipe to help you need less water. If you have this higher, you will need way less water. If you have it lower, you'll need slightly less water, if that makes sense. So it makes the recipes work better if you go higher and work not so well if you go lower. And then the custom recipe skill factor is a little confusing because I haven't really figured this out on my own yet. But it says that the higher the number increases the effect of the crafting speed that is used as a base for making recipes. So what I got from that was that when you make a recipe, you have a base skill set, and this makes it so that has a higher or lower effect. So there we go. That's about everything, and I hope you guys were helped, and I hope I did it quick enough. Sorry it was still a really long video, and I would appreciate it if you guys would subscribe and all that, and enjoy ARK. Let me know if this works out for you, and if you have any questions, go ahead and comment, and I'll get back to you guys. We'll see you later.